Okay, then the VHF radio on the boat. Someone says I don't know if it's any good, or whether it's a very good output or something, which is quite silly really, because if you can't rely on equipment, you're better off not having it. At least you know where you stand. Very difficult getting reports from other people. You're involving their systems, and there's a strange system with Marine Band. You call up the Coast Guards or someone, you hear it all the time weekends, for a radio check. And I find it quite amazing. You'll usually get your loud and clear or distorted or something, that's about it. But it really tells you nothing. If you've got loud and clear and he's only half a mile up the road, that's not too clever, is it? If you're weak but readable and you're 50 miles away, I'd say that was damn good. So, and of course you're incorporating other people's problems, so it's best to check things out yourself. Anyway, VHF, frequency modulated transceiver. I've had several of these in my workshop. They work well enough. It's a Shoreline compact RT. They work very well actually for the size. They give excellent output for the size, but I'm not a great lover of them, to be honest. Well, I've connected this one up to a power supply, so we'll switch that on. Before we do anything else, we'll put a dummy load. You never see these, or you should never see these advertised on eBay or whatever, which I have, and somebody says, don't know much about them, but it all lights up. There was a nice one the other day I quite fancied. Again, I don't know much about them. Well, leave the damn thing alone then. And looking at the picture carefully, I could see that the TX light was illuminated, and there was no sign of a dummy load, matched aerial or anything. Anyway, this eventually sold, I think, for about, what did it go for? 36, 38 quid. And there's a good chance if you key up without a proper load, you can fry up the output transistor, sometimes the driver as well. And on that particular radio, which went, I say, for about 38 quid, if you can get them, forget the transistor in question, but dubious Chinese copies are available at 18 quid a piece, and you probably could need two. So that would end up a very expensive radio indeed. But what I don't particularly like about these, it's, let's switch on, it's this business of up down channels. I much prefer a rotary switch. I don't particularly like the liquid crystal display. It's not as clear to me as a double 7-segment LED display, but that's older equipment. Anyway, I'm rambling on here. Connect up to a supply. Make sure you get the polarity the right way around. Most of this gear does have a diode to protect the thing if you do get the polarity wrong, like a lot of equipment. Idiot diode it's called. But don't rely on them. They can go wrong. So get it right. Okay, so we'll have this set on low. We're on low. We've got our through line watt meter connected up. Let's see if I can zoom into that a bit better perhaps. That's better. We're on low. I'm on low setting, and as you can see the meter has come up a little bit, and there's no reflected signal because we've got a proper 50 ohm load at the end. Then we go to high, and as you can see the meter's gone wider. The masses of output. I've always found these very good for output. So we know now we've got a good carrier, a good signal. What's the modulation like? Well, we're back to the old business of, you know, getting someone else to listen to you, but of course you don't know what their equipment is like. So I'm going to go on low power, and I've got a handheld here. Let's disconnect that supply. Let's switch it on. International. I'll go to 16 because I've got a dummy load. I'll go on, well, I'm not going to transmit with this one. So we'll put it back there horizontally. And on low power, because of the close proximity, I don't want to destroy the front end of that one. Is that key up a bit better? That's better. We're on low power. Let's have a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We'll turn up the volume. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Wiggle the leads. All sounds good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That whistling is feedback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds good. Okay, let's pan back. So, we'll turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. So we've done some preliminary tests on this, and I'm quite happy with this. The mic switch wasn't too noisy. If it is, you can usually take the screws out the back, and where the switch, you'll see the action of the switch. Give it a squirt with electrical cleaner with the set switched off, and just work it a dozen or more times after you've sprayed it, and it'll clean up the switch. Doing this is far more reliable than asking somebody's help. So we've proved, or we've established to my satisfaction, that the transceiver works well. It's pretty much up to spec, but we don't know what the aerial on the boat is like. We will substitute the dummy load for the aerial and see what reflected power we get back. And the more power we get back, the more inefficient the aerial is. And so we want the best possible match as possible. Everything should be 50 ohms. The output from the transceiver is 50 ohms. The coax cable patch lead I've got here is 50 ohms. The load of this through-line watt meter is 50 ohms, and the dummy load, which is 50 watt dummy load, in this case is 50 ohms. So we need to match that all the way through. And this goes with the rest of the installation. So that's just a quick rundown on the transceiver. On to the next problem.